Today on Modern Happiness, we're going to be discussing the reality of intern-centric culture. If you're a student, I'm sure you can relate to this new craze of getting highly coveted internships while in school. And with this craze comes this pressure and expectations that bring struggles. And that's what we're here to talk about. Let's get started. So what comes to mind when you see these logos? These days, getting internships at these companies seem to be the golden ticket. Even that claim is questionable, but what does the reality of trying to reach these expectations look like? And how do they affect you? So we sat down with a student at the center of this reality. She has some genuine experiences that she can share that I'm sure many of you can relate to.
This is Tanvi, hello, and I am 19 years old. I'm currently a student in college, and I'm Indian American. This whole process of internships, which I feel like is a really commonly talked about topic with, people our age, especially because I'm from the Silicon Valley. I think a lot of my peers achieve a lot of things, and, it's really easy to compare yourself to people around you. And I think, one of the biggest emotions that I felt was genuine confusion about where I was in life. And I'm a pretty confident person, so I was really confused about why I was feeling so defeated. For some context, I would say, just for more specific information, I applied to, I would say, about 100 to 120 internships this past fall. And for context, I'm a sophomore right now. And so these internships were for this summer. I think, in school, I'm surrounded by a lot of people. I'm in organizations where that's something that people strive for a lot. So I think a lot of the motivation came from that. And I got, callbacks for about 20 to 25 interviews, went forward with a lot of those. I think often definitely prioritized that over my schoolwork during the time. And I was, really, really excited about these opportunities and kind of had a mindset where I was worthy and I deserved at least something. So I didn't really see it coming and felt really blindsided when I actually recently ended my recruiting season with no offers.
And she's not alone, and if you're in the same position, you're not either. So many internships and jobs have been canceled due to COVID-19, but these expectations just seem like they're still looming. So, despite the situation, how are these pressures making you feel? Let's hear what Tanvi has to say about this.
I was confused. I was confused about why I felt so defeated because I'm a generally confident, self-aware person, and I was told my whole life, if you're confident and self-aware, you can get anywhere you want, you can achieve anything you want. Nothing's gonna get in your way, you're really strong. And, I was here thinking to myself, I'm considering myself to be a really strong person, so I don't know why something as minuscule as this or as common as this is affecting me so badly. And I mean, last year, I remember when I first made an account and hopped on it, I was like, wow, this is a great resource. I'm seeing a lot of advice from recruiters, a lot of inside industry advice, a lot of cool articles from professionals that have been in the business or in the industry, whichever industry, for 10 plus years. I'm seeing so much advice from these people. And, it kind of filtered a lot of the content, saved me a lot of Google searching and a lot of gave me answers to questions that I didn't even know I had, right, about my professional career. And I think this year what changed was, what I've noticed is my entire feed kind of turned into, as I'm connecting with more people my age. So I think a part of it is also that most of my connections are people my age, who knows, right? I need to expand my network. But a lot of it was just it felt like an Instagram for posting offers. So I remember I would wake up and I would go on LinkedIn and I would literally just see a picture of the Amazon logo. And I feel like it's because a lot of modern happiness, in terms of, people in my age range, is based off of being, good enough, in terms of, whatever it is. It's pleasing your family, or, a lot of us in the Silicon Valley, if we're in a heavily Asian community, come from a lot of expectations. And it was interesting to me because I personally don't come from that kind of a background. My parents always told me, comparison isn't good. You shouldn't compare yourself to others. So I think the confusion came from this mindset of growing up in an environment where I know comparing myself to someone is bad. But it was trying to find a fine line between, it can also be good, right? Because when you compare yourself to other people, right, and you have competition, it motivates you. That's how I always looked at it. And I think starting college, I was surrounded by so many competitive but supportive people. So it was a lot of confusion between how am I interpreting this competition, you know? And there's a fine line between, it can go, yeah, it's like two extremes. And it's like me currently right now, the state I'm in is trying to find the fine line between good comparison and bad comparison, if that makes sense, and how to cope with that. So I think I got too caught up in, you know, where this confusion came from, and this frustration from not getting an offer was definitely getting caught up in the bad side of the comparison. And I think it's something that a lot of us struggle to balance. It's like you want to surround yourself with people that are, you know, objectively quote unquote better or achieving things that you want to achieve, because I feel like it's a good environment to be in. But at the same time, you don't want that to have detrimental effects on you. So I'm currently, honestly, in the state where I'm trying to find that balance. And I think it's achievable. I'm just on my journey to attaining that. Maybe, like, I wish things could have been structured as, like, here was my journey. If, you know, even just a simple, like, I know people are doing it now because we're in a pandemic. I notice this now, like, people that are re-recruiting are being more transparent and saying, you know, I'm re-recruiting, here's my journey. But I just wish people were a little more confident to not just post their highlights all the time. And, you know, like, again, like, I'm only saying this because it's an answer to your question, but I don't say this all the time to people because even, like, I myself am not at that confidence and security level where I feel like I'm confident with, you know, highlighting my failures on social media. So it's a little hypocritical of me to ask that. But I do think that would solve a lot of problems as well. Why do I care so much about being where other people are at? And I realize it's because I'm literally just not happy with myself right now. And what would make me happy superficially on the surface level is this validation, right? Of fitting in or being good enough. But I realize that I'm not able to attain that if I'm not even just happy with myself and who I am and what I'm doing. So I decided to focus my attention on that, you know, instead of, okay, maybe striving, like putting like 12 hours a day to getting an internship is not the answer.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So how was that? Comment how that made you feel and whatever thoughts you want to share on this matter. I think one thing to acknowledge is that we're all growing in this journey, and I just wanted to show that you're not alone. I hope we can create a community where we can support each other and push us to understand ourselves a little bit better. I hope this video helped anyone out there. Please like, subscribe, and share so more people can hear this. See you next week.